Good night, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite live sports show. That is indeed hashtag this just in. And if I'm going to have your favorite sports show, I have to have your favorite guest. None other than Jerm from Stuff About Sports and the dynamic duo themselves, JT and the Don. Guys, are y'all finally ready to talk some football?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Bring it on.
I mean, well, I know somebody's ready to talk about football because, as you saw in the title of the show, it's a Buffalo Bills episode, and the only Buffalo Bills fan I know does not even live in Buffalo. So, Germ, I have read everything from PFF to NFL.com itself to CBS Sports to Fox, and everyone seems to be telling me your Buffalo Bills are the best team. Vegas is telling me they are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. So, Germ, should I believe the hype and everyone that the Buffalo Bills are indeed the NFL's best team?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that,
I
Justin,
don't,
because
but hey,
I know you don't, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you why you're wrong here. And because you did all the evidence, did all the research, you see the evidence there. There's two things that people believe in. They believe in data and they believe in the eye test. What did the eye test tell you last year? That Josh Allen, amongst all the diabolical haters out there, had the Chiefs on the ropes. All right. It was a coin toss that stopped Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, not, and maybe the bad coaching decisions and bad timeout and time management, but not the team itself. It wasn't the Chiefs themselves. So you said you did the research. Boom. What did FPI tell you? The Football Power Index, the height of the mountain, the Olympian, them all the time. They told you that not only was the Buff the best team last year by a slight margin over the Chiefs, but they are now a whole lot better than the next best team for coming this year in the Packers. So data is now telling you that. Unprecedented rule change. They changed overtime for the Buffalo Bills. They didn't change it for the Chiefs in a similar situation 2 years ago. So here we go. The Bills are number one on the FPI Power Index. So let's go through this in order. Who's the next team? The Packers, right? The Packers, what did they lose? They lost Davante Adams. What's the team next? The Rams. They lost Von Miller. The Chiefs, what did they lose? They lost Tyreek Hill. The Buccaneers lost Gronkowski and some other pieces. What did the Bills lose? Oh, wait, they didn't lose anything. The Bills did nothing but gain. They took from the Rams. They signed Jamison Crowder. They added Von Miller and a bunch of other good, talented players to round out the already best defense in the NFL. And we drafted probably the most slept on gem commodity in the NFL, James, who will be our starter by week 5. So, yeah, the Bills are the best team, and they have the best quarterback. Josh Allen. Nobody can do it, Josh. Who else can throw 80 yards? Patrick. Can he jump over Anthony Carr? No. Can he stiff arm Aaron Donald's face to the turf? No. That is why the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the league. And you're muted.
so sorry, folks. I muted my because I thought my background was creating issues. I don't know who can follow that. So JD, Don, y'all want to follow that grand soliloquy?
I, I'll go first since you're always scared. So I'll go first. Listen, Germ, I'm not gonna totally disagree with you. I mean, you bring up really good points, but let me start at one of the points you made was it was the coaching last year that cost them. Well, to as far as I know, and I think everyone else knows that coaching is part of being the best team, right? We always talk about all those years New England was great going into the season because of Bill Belichick, right? And another guy named Tom Brady. So that's the team I'm going to lean toward. They were 13-4 last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, and by the way, Germ, I know this is a new season coming up, but they beat your Buffalo Bills last year. And actually, they had kind of controlled that whole game until the end. And you've got Tom Brady coming back. He's not coming back just to play for second place. Like, he's coming back because they were the number 2 seed at 13-4. He believes they can be the number 1 seed, and they probably should be, because you mentioned other teams maybe not getting better. Well, I think they have. I mean, they brought in Russell Gage. AB at the end caused more problems. You bring in Russell Gage, Julio, which I know he's older, but again, these are weapons that he's going to use. And I know they lost Gronk, but what do? They bring back that depth with Kyle Rudolph, who's not quite Gronk, but he's healthier and younger than Gronk, and they still got Cameron Brate. Plus, they have younger guys stepping up. Devin White gets better every year. Tyler Johnson, another weapon, gets better every year. Leonard Fournette is back. I don't know what his weight is at on this particular day, but I guarantee you one thing, come week 1, Brady will have him in shape. And then you look at they're getting better because of guys that they get back healthy. Vita Vea, I believe, Winfield Jr., and they have a new coach coming in, which may not have a lot of experience, but I got to believe that him and Brady will get along better, and maybe the locker room in general will have that cohesion that they didn't have last year after the Super Bowl. And finally, Jerm, the Bills find ways to lose. Tampa has been a Super Bowl champ just 2 years removed. So going into week 1, I would say the better team, not toward the end, because I think maybe Buffalo can pull it out at the end, but going into week 1, the best team by roster, coach, position, depth, history, experience, it's got to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry, man. I hate saying that because I don't want to pick them, but I've got to go with them.
Is Brady coming back to win a title, or is he coming back because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have traded him further south in the state, and then the Dolphins were fighting for Tampa?
Justin, if you've been watching The Captain based on Derek Jeter, Brady is like Jeter. He's only playing to win. He's not playing just to come back and he's always playing to win a title.
JT, have a crack at it. Are the Bills indeed the best team in the league when you're following Jerm soliloquy, or do we have another contender here?
See, that's why I hate sometimes be on the show with Jerm, because that's my boy, for real. And he lets his emotions get the better of him way too much when we're talking about the Sixers and we're talking about the Bills. He doesn't live in those cities, by the way, so I think that's funny. Now, to his point, I want to break down some points that the NFL just changed this rule because the Bills were just so robbed. No, I don't want to curse on your show, but you guys effed up. That's what it was. You called bad defense at the end of an important game, and it cost you, and you put yourself in the position to lose. They didn't change the rule because you were robbed. They changed the rule because you cried. There's a difference. Now, to be the best, you got to beat the best. You guys got to beat the Chiefs first before I go putting you as the number 1 team. And first of all, how illegitimate is that list if the Packers are anywhere near the top of that? So I'm not even putting stock into that list. I don't care what metrics, PFI, mass body index, whatever the hell you guys are looking at. I don't care about that. I agree with Don. Josh Allen ain't better than Brady. Brady is here to take hearts for as long as he's in the league. He ain't playing for second best. And Tampa Bay is loaded. Their defense is probably the best in the league, and they got hella weapons on offense. Rams, they got better too. Yeah, they lost Von Miller, but you act like Von Miller was wrecking shop with the Rams. It's Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey coming back. They add Allen Robinson, and I'm sorry, they still look like they're the team to beat. And then how can you guys count out the Chiefs? They beat you guys last year. They still got Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, they lost Tyreek Hill, but Mahomes is a stud. And I don't believe it, but everybody is on the Joe Burrow and Cincinnati Bengals hype train, so they got to be up there too. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm going to hear on every show from here into the end of time, how great the Bengals are going to be. But I think at the end of the day, the biggest reason why they're not the number 1 team is 2 things. One, you guys don't have the best coach. I'm sorry, but McVay is better. Andy Reid is better. So that is right there. Tom Brady's a better coach than the one you guys got too, so I'll put him in there. And also, I don't know why you're not more worried. One, I can understand you have the faith in Josh Allen, but you guys are really underestimating losing Daboll. Like, he is your offensive coordinator. Like, you forgot how bad Josh Allen looked in the first 2 years of his career. Who is responsible for turning him into the $250 million man? It's not the guy who's the head coach, who's a defensive mind. It's the offensive guy, Dable, who is not there anymore. So I just don't. I know you guys didn't lose anything on the field, but you lost a lot of continuity behind the scenes. And I just don't trust Buffalo. Like, this is what you guys do. You guys get all this hype, and then you lose 4 straight. Like, this is on brand for what you guys are going to do. So that's why I can't trust you guys as the number 1 team until you show me.
Don't worry, Jerm. I'm coming here to bring the cavalry. I got you, buddy.
Thank you.
So, in terms of roster, like, you have the best roster in the NFL. I don't think that's without question. Like, you have a top 5 quarterback, no matter what we say. You have a very good receiving core, and the stout defense that was last season is returning now. Tre'Davious White, and you're adding Von Miller. So on the field, on paper, by roster, I do think you are the best team in the NFL. Unfortunately, Jeremy, have to pull the rug from under you because coaching does matter. And we all saw that divisional game against the Chiefs. Buffalo Bills had no right losing that game. And if all 4 of us here knew that not Squib kicking the ball was a mistake, then for the life of me, I do not know how Sean McDermott, an NFL head coach with Super Bowl aspirations, could not understand that. And then Leslie Frazier doubling down and leaving the best weapon on the Kansas City Chiefs wide open in the middle of the field. In the middle of the field. Like, there are 2 places that Patrick Mahomes is going to go to. A quick out to the fastest player in the field and the sure-handedness of the best middle of the field weapon in all of football. And you give up the latter of the 2 options. I cannot believe that. Unless I do not know what's going on in Buffalo, I am almost certain both Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier are returning for 2022, unless I didn't see news somewhere, and that is a problem. I want to believe in your team, Jerm, but Sean McDermott is not a big day horse. He does not win big day games, and I'm going to hold it against all 3 of you, JT, for a lesser extent. Have the Rams gone anywhere? Like, have we forgotten all of a sudden? This is the team. Yes, they lost Von Miller. They just added Allen Robinson. Talk about Allen Robinson. Like, you have actually upgraded at the wide receiver position as much as we don't know where Odell.
And Bobby Wagner.
And then the one player who knows how to sniff out play action reads better than any in linebacker. I am not a Bobby Wagner fan, but if there's one thing that he knows how to play, and San Francisco plays in that division against him twice, he knows how to play play action game, and that's Bobby Wagner. This team has arguably gotten better, but there is a concern, and I'm going to flip quickly to the next segment because there are concerns with their starting quarterback's elbow. So, Don, I'll start with you this time. Should the Rams be overly concerned with Matt Stafford's elbow, or have they seen enough over the weekend to think it's just a niggle?
I think there should be concern. Sean McVay said the pain is abnormal for a QB. Anytime a head coach says that, heck yeah, I'd be worried. Like, there was no reason for McVay to say any of that. So obviously there's some concern. I don't think he's just kind of playing, games here, like through the media. I think there's concern. And Justin, this is why I didn't pick the Rams as the best team. If Josh Allen or Tom Brady had any sort of injury that could be lingering, forget about it. Like, I'm not picking that team as the best. I think it's more of a concern for late in the year playoff run, because during the offseason, the injection didn't work. He didn't have surgery. He had no offseason throwing with the team. It's still with the injection, even with the injection, there's still pain now. He's had a limited overall schedule in camp, meaning no team drills. Like he said, I think today or yesterday, oh, it's a little sore. Like, you haven't been throwing, man. Like, you haven't thrown since the Super Bowl. It's hurting now in August. We haven't even played one preseason game yet. Like, how are you going to be feeling halfway through the year during those, especially in any cold weather games? Like, repeating is difficult to begin with, and now your quarterback. We're not just talking about like any other player outside of Aaron Donald, right? If it was Aaron Donald, I'd be really concerned too. This is your quarterback, and you've got to be concerned at where it's at long term if he's already feeling pain. Like, it's not going to get any better during the year. Sorry.
I know we palled on your Bills, just no Jerm, but do you feel any sort of concern where Matt Stafford's elbow, is concerned?
Yeah, I don't care about Matt Stafford. Back to the Buffalo Bills. You said coaching. Let me tell you why coaching doesn't matter. Bill Belichick proved it. Tom Brady proved it. What has Bill Belichick, the great Bill Belichick, done since Tom Brady took his talents to Tampa Bay? I'll tell you, nada.
Got him to a playoff.
Yep.
Any other coach probably
afloat,
doesn't get that team to a playoff.
Any team could have got that team snuck to the playoffs. They're talented. Don't let people, and that's the problem. People overrate Bill Belichick in the coaching position.
Could McDermott do it?
That they sleep on the talent. The McDermott could do it.
No.
McDermott brought Tyrod Taylor to the playoffs. So enough of you guys talking bad about my coach. But and I know JT lost.
In a bad light though.
Listen, JT lost when he mentioned that I'm a Bills fan who lives in North Carolina. He's a Dolphins fan that lives in Canada. He's not even in the same country. You got, Justin from Barbados, Packers fan.
Jerm, he's only a Dolphin fan in even.
It says Miami.
He's only a Dolphin fan in even years.
Even years, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. We're going to wait and see if the Dolphins start 3-0. He's going to be talking. He's going to be talking two at a time and everything.
If we start 3-0, I'll say, look, we're not going to the Super Bowl. I'm a realistic fan. Every little thing that breaks right, I don't just go to the store and just buy the latest jersey. I'm a realistic fan.
Yeah, you buy the other
Matt Stafford. The Rams should just enjoy the Super Bowl and move on. They're lucky to be there. They're lucky that the San Francisco 49ers slipped or whatever they did, or the Buccaneers slipped and fell and busted coverage. They're lucky that they're even luckier that they beat San Francisco. They're just a lucky team. They're lucky that the Buffalo Bills didn't make it to the Super Bowl. The Cincinnati Bengals are lucky. Everybody's lucky. That the dream is over. Josh Allen is the truth. All right. So all this lie that everybody's living is over because the Bills are coming. We're the best, and we're always going to be the best. Matt Stafford will be fine. Allen Robinson is not good. I don't know why everybody keeps he's Madden good. He's not real life good. I don't know how much more evidence you need. Bobby Wagner, the bones of Bobby Wagner, for some reason resurrected out of Seattle and Dallas, who didn't do anything. Hasn't done anything since Cam Chancellor left and Richard Sherman left, but all of a sudden Bobby Wagner is going to save this team. Enough. All right, enough. The LAARP team. That's who they are. The Rams. The LAARP Rams.
It's funny.
A bunch of old guys.
You're saying this because you making it seem like we haven't seen players just not play up to their potential and quit when they're in bad situations. Because you see it all the time in the NBA, and you saw it with Randy Moss. Maybe Bobby Wagner looks like bones because Seattle is a bad situation. Maybe Allen Robinson is looking like bones because he's got Mitch Trubisky throwing to him and Matt Nagy calling the plays. You're right. I wouldn't want to be out there working to my full potential either. So I wouldn't be so sure those guys are washed. I think
DeAndre Hopkins,
they're unhappy with their situations.
DeAndre Hopkins played with an awful team his entire life, right? And he was still considered the best receiver in the league, no matter who was throwing to him.
He had to play.
And he's had good quarterbacks. He's had bad quarterbacks. No, he's had good quarterbacks and he has had bad quarterbacks. And guess what hasn't changed? His play and his contributions to the team. So I don't want to hear all this playing
different
bad.
Situation.
If a player's playing bad because he's in a bad situation, then he's definitely not a player.
Diop had to ball out to get paid, and then once he did get paid, he's like, "How can I get to a place that can extend my career with a good quarterback?"
Well,
Matt Stafford is the head of Hall of Very Good. Yeah, he got a Super Bowl, luckily to the team. Do it again, Matt Stafford. Do it again.
JT, same thing.
Well, we can't listen to German Matt Stafford because he already lost that last year. So I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why he's trying to double or nothing. We not listening to that. But I'm gonna say this: I'm really not worried. One, because football players play through pain. That's what they do. Like, we never know how truly hurt they are. But we went through this same panic just last year with Dak Prescott, didn't we? He had a injury that was not common for football players. It was a baseball injury in the offseason. Everybody's like, oh my God, Dak, he's not throwing. It's sore. Oh my God, his arm's going to fall off. And what happened? He went balled out, did fine. Matt Stafford will be fine. His elbow has probably hurt him for years, trying to carry Detroit to 8 wins. So he'll be fine. Football players play through injury. If it was really, really an issue, I think there'd be different talk about it. And Sean McVay put my mind at ease. He said, I'm going to sleep better tonight after seeing him throw in practice. So that tells me it's business as usual. This is just we're tripping because of the offseason and getting worried.
I'm somewhere in the middle on this. Like, Don, there was no reason for Sean McVay to bring this up. But like you said, JT, this quarterback is known for playing through injuries. Like, this man has had a hurt back and still managed to step foot on the field for Detroit Lions. Like, if a hurt back isn't causing you to miss games for the Detroit Lions, then I don't know what is going to keep you away from trying to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. I will say this, if for whatever... Oh, go ahead, Don.
I was going to say, Justin, you could finish if you want, but I wanted to say something else. So if you want to finish first, and then I'll jump back in.
I will say this. Matt Stafford is a quarterback that is known to play through injury pain. So I guess in that sense, you could feel a bit of relief as a Rams fan. If he has to miss any time, however, I will tell you I don't know, because as much as that offense previously under old man McVay, not old man McVay, Kyle Shanahan's dad, Mike Shanahan, is built for zone running scheme. Better believe the Rams do not want to or care to run the football as much as Cam Akers is coming back. You don't bring Allen Robinson in. You don't watch, or try your best to keep Odell Beckham Jr. in the fray if you don't plan to continue to unfold those 3 wide receiver sets more than any other team in the league. This team is not built for their backup quarterback to win games or run the football and protect leads that or play defensive football. That is not what they're built to do. Go ahead, Don.
I got to disagree with what JT said. One, it's in my DNA and in my contract to disagree with him at least once a show. You talk about NFL players playing through injury, JT. It's different with a quarterback when you're dealing with his shoulder or his elbow. I mean, it's like a pitcher. You just saw Kershaw leave the mound the other night. Like, QB.
But are you really comparing baseball players playing through injury at the rate that football players do?
It's not. Again, we're talking pitchers and quarterbacks. Forget the NFL average player. Like, I know Stafford's been through stuff, but look at Big Ben. He played through just as bad of injuries as Stafford. 2 years ago, when his elbow was hurting, what happened in week 2 against Seattle? Gone, just like that. Like, you can't control that stuff. And if it's already hurting now, he's older than Dak Prescott. You're comparing apples and oranges. Like, you can't compare those two. Dak is a younger guy, built differently, right? Physically, in terms of he probably lifts more weights compared to Stafford. Like, two different things.
You obviously you haven't been watching the Matthew Stafford workout videos this offseason. Dude is jacked.
And maybe
why are you trying?
And maybe that is why his elbow hurts.
Too much lifting, guys.
He's getting older. He's getting older.
But Don,
talking
I know
elbow
you want
here.
to I know you want to disagree with me just for the sake of disagreement.
We're talking elbow.
Bro, we hear about quarterbacks in these types of things all the time. Like, you heard it with Jameis Winston. Like, oh my God, he's got shoulder fatigue. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen to him. Dude goes out there, throws 5,000 yards.
Fatigue is
50
different.
interceptions, but he's still out there throwing 5,000 yards.
Like,
garbage time yards don't count.
And 30 interceptions, but that's shoulder fatigue compared to this guy got JT. He got an injection that did not help. So that leads me to believe, did he need surgery and elected not to get it? So you want me to
worry about every NFL player that gets an injection to help with the injury management? Then half the league I should be worried about.
I'll leave it at this. We're talking about a quarterback's elbow. That's much different than someone's ankle that they can play through the pain. You can't play through a Tommy John type of injury as a quarterback. You just can't.
So Doc Don, do you think that he should shut it down and get Tommy John surgery?
I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm answering the question. I'm concerned.
I mean, I know you got the glasses on. You do got a few degrees. I don't know what's sandwiched in there. There might be some medical, biology degrees in there. Do you? None. I want your expert opinion. Do you think he needs Tommy John surgery? Because you like making up injuries
I don't know.
It's like making up injuries.
How am I
for scare
making this
tactics.
up?
You do this all the time.
How am I making this up? You're acting like you're the doctor in that. Oh, he's all right.
I'm not.
He's gonna play through.
I'm not. But you're trying to throw out big words like Tommy Johns and stuff
Oh, that's
like
a
that.
big word now.
You're trying to scare people. He'll be fine.
Sorry, Justin, to bring big words, Tommy John surgery onto the
never
show.
used
My
it.
bad.
I got one thing. Sorry, Justin. One more thing to add to that. Besides Josh Allen actually improving this year, right? The offense, if you talk about Brian Dable, who was awful in play calling situations, the guy who actually, as a Bills fan, got Josh Allen to this level is the current offensive coordinator, then quarterbacks coach Ken Dorsey, who Josh Allen made the franchise hire as the offensive coordinator. Josh Allen is the man. No holes in the Bills roster.
For Ken Dorsey all day. We'll root for him all day. But hey, if the Bills are successful, it's because of that man right there. It ain't because of McDermott.
See, right, how good Jerm really is, right? Because I want to see if he's gonna find a way to bring the Bills and Josh Allen into this next segment.
He will. I bet. I wouldn't bet against that man.
I'm
He know what he's doing.
now. So don't talk about fatigue, and by now we're all fatigued hearing about the whole situation with Deshaun Watson and suspension. So, Jerm, I'm going to try my best to see if you can really bring Josh Allen and the Bills in this one. Considering the NFL were the ones who brought Sue Robinson into this to begin with, do you agree with them currently appealing her 6-game suspension of Deshaun Watson?
Yes. And the best thing about Josh Allen is that there's no way to stop him. Nobody has found a way to stop Josh Allen himself. Like the NFL did with Sue Robinson's verdict, Josh Allen leaped over all the competition. He's leapfrogged all of them, and nobody can stop him. Not only did he leapfrog them, then he's just like Roger Goodell did to Sue Robinson and Josh Allen did to Aaron Donald, stiff-armed her in the face and said, "No, Sue Robinson, no, I'm Josh Allen of the NFL front office leagues, and I'm going to overturn it, and I'm going to suspend Deshaun Watson for the rest of the season because nobody wants to watch him. They all want to watch Josh Allen."
I underrated your Bills fandom, and they will never do that again.
I don't know why you took that bet.
I'm $50 shorter, probably. JT, I know how you feel about the situation, but in light of everything that's happened, do you think the NFL is right in trying to overturn Sue Robinson's decision?
I mean, I know Don will give more legal, analysis, but no, we want to hear it. I'm not bashing you, but I will say this just from me being selfish. Yeah, I'm glad they did it for 2 reasons. One, they're going to get it right, and at least they're trying to fool me into thinking they care about women. So even if it's a ruse, and that results in something that is going to get the right thing done, I'm all for it. I mean, I think they should give him the Bauer treatment, but that's just me. But hey, look, I'll have to settle for a year. But the fact that they're challenging her ruling tells me that they're about business and they're really trying to make him sit out for the year.
No, the fact that I'm going next and not going last shows you how much I really rate Don's legalist. That's what y'all call it, right? His expert opinion in legality. So I'm going to go no, so that Don can have the last say. Or maybe I'm just going to mute myself so that we don't hear my doorbell inside this. Oh, no, doorbell's not ringing. So, yeah, I'm going to go and let Don have the final word on this. I am split. Yes, I am happy that they overturned it because, indeed, I wanted, like JT, 2 years. And 2 years and not 1 year because he is trying to circumvent this and trying as best not to lose as much money as possible. Hence why he only has $1 million on the line this season. So he knows he's at fault. He knows what he was doing, and he knew a suspension was coming. But no, because the NFL put themselves in this position. Like, I know you're trying to avoid Roger Goodell coming over as judge, jury, and executioner. But in a case like this, like, no, you knew what was on the line. You knew all the eyes were on you. You knew in the world that we live in, anything less than a year was going to look bad, and you still put it in the hands of somebody else so that Roger Goodell could come afterwards and look like a savior. Like, no, you put her in a position to make you look bad. Well, live with the consequences now. and they hand over the baton like Team USA in the women's 4x100, big shocking upset of Jamaica, and they let Dawn close.
Oh, Don's finishing us up in the relay. Oh, we in trouble.
Yeah, you are. Listen, I'm the wrong person for the anchor leg. I appreciate Justin going last, but I'll just make it simple. I think one, it was too lenient, and I think Judge Robinson. So I think the NFL was right in appealing it. I think Judge Robinson set it up for them, giving them, very detailed, specific, a very detailed memo of how she arrived at the 6 games. And so within there, she basically made the argument for the NFL that once they go to appeal it, that I think they could raise the games up to at least a minimum of a year. And I know, Justin, you had mentioned before, well, then Deshaun's just going to file suit, maybe try to get an injunction, which will allow him to play the 6 games. But I think the issue is going to be with that. NFLPA's got to be concerned, because if it goes to the federal court and they actually side with the NFL in whether it's 1 or 2 years, because Judge Robinson laid it out, I think, so neatly for them, that guess what? Now it resets the precedents, and now you've got a federal court upholding an NFL suspension, which we didn't see that in some of the other things in like the Greg Hardy, the Ray Rice, and we can go down the line with naming names. Plus, I think what it could do is, with some of these incidences with owners in the future, like Daniel Snyder, now it sets that precedence where any coaches, owners, players that violate the NFL conduct policy, as well as any actual crimes, that now that bar is really high in terms of suspension. So I think the NFL is maybe trying to cover themselves here, and maybe are playing it right. Plus, I think maybe in the CBA, Justin, they've kind of agreed to go to a mediator first and then appeal by the NFL. So, yes, they've kind of put themselves in this situation, but I think the last part is the optics of it. And JT was kind of hinting on it. So the optics are, we'll go to a third party, we come in, and we'll lay down the hammer if we feel it's too lenient. And this is the case here. Optics, they had to appeal it. Even if they end up losing, they had to appeal it, because if not, it's like what JT said, it's going to show their true colors in that, do they really care about these victims, and in particular, females?
While sticking in Cleveland, and because Jerm has shown me he has found a way, any possible way to bring in Josh Allen Bills, I'm not starting with Jerm this time. You're not winning me money the second time.
So are we talking about the 6 game without Deshaun, or the Bauer without
the
Deshaun?
The 6 game suspension is held up, can the Browns survive that?
Hell yes, they can survive. Have you seen that schedule? Like, 3 of those teams aren't even playoff teams, no division games, and the 4th worst team on the schedule is the Steelers once. Like, Jerm getting 2 weeks of coaching from Josh Allen could win those games. He could have them 4-2. Don, have you seen him throw? Don could have them, 3-2, maybe. You know what I'm saying? He might be able to sneak a 4th game in there. But yes, this suspension, the Browns were happy because they knew that beginning of this season schedule is easy for them. Like, Baker Mayfield could go undefeated in this, in my opinion. So yeah, I think they can survive. It's when you go past that 6th game, when he starts missing 10 or a year, is where you got to wonder, okay, like, how long can they keep this up?
Same thing, Jerm. If the suspension is held, can the Browns make a playoff push without Deshaun Watson for those first 6 games?
Jacoby Brissett sucks. Like, I don't know why people are they're living on this. He's from the Bill Belichick tree, and he did good with the Patriots for like 3 games. But like, what did he do in Indianapolis? I mean, what did he do? What has he done? He went 8-9, when Baker was there. I mean, he's a taller version of like Tim Couch. He's like black Tim Couch to me. Just slow processing, slow feet, kind of athletic, he has a good arm, but hasn't done anything for him. So I mean, he's a 500 quarterback, and that's what he's always been. So I can expect the Browns to be 500 with that soft schedule ahead. I don't know. I don't know. They better do well because their slew of games after are a nightmare, and in short order, they will be playing Josh Allen in those Buffalo Bills right when Deshaun gets back, where they will pick up another loss. So at best, in those 6 games and 7 against the Bills, they'll be 3-4, and the Bills will move on in the AFC, and the Browns will get lower.
I knew it was coming, so I didn't hedge my bets this time.
Before you go, I did want to. Don mentioned about the collective bargaining with Deshaun Watson. The NFLPA already said they're not going to file an injunction, which is odd considering as they fought for this process, this disciplinary process, and forced this mediator method on Roger Goodell, who didn't want it. And now they're upset with the process because it didn't go the way they wanted to. And now they're not going to file an injunction because they know if it does go to federal court, the court's going to side with Roger Goodell. So the NFLPA has done horrible for the players, actually, I think. And this is just going to highlight it because Deshaun will serve that year suspension. And the NFLPA is going to look weak because they're not going to fight it.
So, Don, let's say that Sue Robinson's decision is upheld. Can the Browns still make the playoffs without Deshaun Watson for 6 games?
Yeah, can they? Sure. Because, I mean, looking at their schedule, I base it on schedule. They're going to be a running team that plays defense regardless. Even if Deshaun would play from week 1, they're going to slowly work him back anyway. They're not going to have him throw 40, 45 times as if he's Drew Brees because he hasn't played in well over a year. So, and then you look at that schedule, they should be easily, even with Brissett, 3-3. Probably, I say more than likely they're 4-2, possibly 5-1 because, Steelers going into Cleveland, who knows what the quarterback situation is going to look like. Steelers usually get better as the season goes on. So, they could be 3-0 out the jump, Cleveland, and then they only really need to win 1 more. So, I think, yeah, they could still make it if he only misses 6. I think the problem's going to be, Justin, what Jerm was saying, when he comes back, meaning Deshaun, they've got to play Buffalo. I don't see them winning that with Brissett or Deshaun. And then moving forward, that schedule gets tough because now they have the Steelers 1 more time in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore 2 more times. I think they've got some other teams in there, maybe like Tampa. I forget who else they have, but they have a difficult non-division schedule outside of those first 6 games. So, I mean, they could still make it and survive without Deshaun, but I think the problem is I think it's that back half of the schedule that'll do them in with or without Deshaun. It's not those first 6 games with or without him. That's not the problem.
I'll agree with you. And the thing is how the team is built. They have one of the better, if not the best, offensive line in all of football. And if they can bring back Kareem Hunt, you have easily the best 1-2 backfield punch with Hunt and Nick Chubb. So as much like Jerm, I'm not a fan of Jacoby Brissett. You're probably not asking him to do too much. You're asking him to do, unlike Baker, don't turn over the football, hand it off, easy reads. You've got Amari Cooper now, which is an upgrade on names are failing me to right now. Yeah, Jarvis Landry. That's an upgrade right now. Jarvis Landry was better than Amari Cooper at one point in time, but it's not now. So, I think this
is he though?
Potato. So, I think what you're asking Jacoby Brissett is not too much. Don't turn over the football. We have an improving defense, and we have a great run football team. And then you look at this schedule. No, the Chargers are touted to be very good, but they are the Chargers. I'm not a fan of the Patriots. You have the Jets, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Steelers. As Don said, you don't know what your starting quarterback situation is going to look like. There are at least 3 very winnable games in there. And let's say you jump either the Patriots or the Steelers. That's a 4-2 record. And you have to feel good about that without your starting quarterback.
Excuse me, sir. They're going to start off the season 0-1. All right. because Backshot Baker is going to be the starting quarterback at Carolina, and he's coming for revengeance, sir. He's going to dominate the Browns.
He might not even be a
I
starter.
could come with vengeance, but if I can't throw a ball past 10 yards, what does that mean? Like, I think that Baker's going to get beaten even worse because the problem is the guy with the guy that can't control his emotions will come onto the field hoping to beat Cleveland. And I'm telling you right now, you're looking at a 2 or 3 interception day from Baker Mayfield. Like you can tab that right now. Baker Mayfield will find a way to lose that game because his emotions are going to get the best of him. Hence why they try to move on from the child in the locker room.
The Browns will win one game in that 6-game stretch, and that's at Atlanta. That's the only game they're going to win. Every team is better than them.
They're playing the New York Jets in this schedule.
The Jets are going to be better. Book it.
You being so disrespectful. Why are you acting like the Browns aren't built to be a team to not have a quarterback? Like, this is literally who they've been since Baker Mayfield got there.
They rival the controlling Lake Erie there. Mm-hmm. That's why he can't give them credit. Like a Steeler fan, I don't like giving Cleveland credit either.
Like Stefanski's got like these 5 wide sets, and they need a quarterback to get all these receivers the ball. Like, no, they're gonna run it with Nick Chubb, run it with Kareem Hunt. When their legs fall off, they're gonna run it with whoever.
All their playoff success, like they've been doing this whole time. Like, I mean, I don't understand what you're saying. He's been there, not like his first year. He's been the coach. What have they done? Tell me what they've done. What has Stefanski done?
I'm saying the team is built for this situation to have an average quarterback.
They're the Browns, dog. Like they're always going to be the Browns. It's not going to matter. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
The Browns is the Browns.
To the Browns.
All right, and hey, we can say that about the Bills. The Bills are always going to be the
Bills. Have gotten
build you up to this high hopes just to not.
Now, great. Thank you for bringing them up. I didn't even have to bring them up. Since Josh Allen has arrived in Buffalo, the Bills have consistently taken steps forward. They have gotten better every year. Nope.
Where are y'all going? How many more steps y'all got to take? We run out of time, man. Joe Burrow
y'all can't beat Patrick Mahomes.
Joe Burrow already left him. What are you waiting for?
Put Patrick Mahomes on the Jets, and he's a bum. He's Baker Mayfield now. Let me tell you, he's not. Josh Allen's not. He had to work for his greatness. He didn't just get it handed to him like Patrick Mahomes did. We're going to find out about that.
He did get it handed to him. They handed him Stefon Diggs.
Josh Allen was already ascending. He's already doubled his production after Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs wasn't even like the main part of the offense. Not to mention low-key good addition for those Buffalo Bills. O.J. Howard in our second tight end set. That's going to put us 12. We won 72% of the games with a 12-man line with that extra tight end. So, yeah, Buffalo Bills.
Real quick, all honesty, Jerm, I know we're getting on you about the Bills. I feel like the Bills' biggest problem is y'all need to have a dome. I feel like the reason because you guys don't have a dome, that limits the impact of Josh Allen when it really matters. Like I watched them play Atlanta last year in the snow, and I was like, oh, this is shit. Like, if they were in a dome, that game would have been over by halftime. So you guys, like, this is true Bills fashion. You guys are your own worst enemy.
Josh Allen has to learn how to play in the snow. That could be a huge home field advantage. I don't understand.
The home field. Okay.
Don't worry. He's great. He'll figure it out.
I gotten kicked out of a Bills group because a bunch of troglodytes and neophytes were out there when I was like, yo, we're spending $1 billion on a new stadium. We couldn't put a retractable. All professional sports teams, baseball, football.
We've talked about this.
Retractable dome. How's that home field advantage working out for the Green Bay Packers? If you're paying
your quarterback $250 million, put him in the dome because that's how you're going to get the biggest return.
These guys aren't plumbers and milkmen anymore, Don. How's that home field advantage working out for the Packers, who have the ultimate home field advantage?
Because
they call it the frozen tundra. How many Super Bowls they got?
They probably don't practice outside anymore. That's probably the problem.
That's you're strengthening the dome argument. They're not even practicing outside. Put a dome. I'm okay with playing.
But you can take advantage of that home field advantage.
You can't. Listen, watch. We did that against the Colts on a Thursday night game. You couldn't even see the field. It was 9-3. It's not enjoyable, good football. It actually is dangerous football.
There's a reason why Tampa was in existence for like 30 years before they won a game below 40 degrees. There's a reason why Peyton Manning needed to play in the dome against New England. If you have the right coach and the right structure, you will take advantage of those home fields.
Like this is
But the
You're acting
Saints
like
have
this is
played in a dome
1950.
too. There's not a
You're acting like
distinct
this is the
advantage
50s.
for
Like,
either or. However, what
But-
you want to do is maximize the athlete's ability, right? Like weather. I'm not talking about cold. If it's going to be 3 degrees outside, I'm cool with that. I'm talking about precipitation.
the snow.
Players should not be. Baseball games shouldn't be canceled because it's raining. You know what I mean? Rain doesn't make like it hinders players' ability to play when there's precipitation, snow, rain, too much wind. I'm cool with cold. If it wants to be cold, fine. But if there's going to be snow and the wind's going to be 30 miles per hour like it was this past year in Buffalo, and you couldn't even throw the ball, and the Patriots threw the ball 3 times and somehow magically won that game. I don't even understand how that happened. But that's
You know
not
how
good
it happened.
football. You're hindering athletes' abilities to play the game at the highest level.
So
I agree for the
I
Super
agree.
Bowl, but in the playoffs, you get to dictate how your home field is. There's a reason why New Orleans has only been to the Super Bowl when they had home field advantage. They didn't have to go anywhere. Like
Because it's hard to go to the Super Bowl whether you have home field advantage or not. Like, I don't think that's a valid part of the argument. But look at this.
I
How
disagree.
many teams
That
how
year
many
the
teams
Saints
that
probably
play
don't get there.
outdoors in the cold that don't have Tom Brady or just all of a sudden just ascending to the Super Bowl all the time because they play outside in the cold?
I mean, it's helped Pittsburgh at times. Buffalo in the early 90s, it helped. I'm not disagreeing with the Super Bowl part. I'm just saying, sorry, Justin, we've gone on topic, but I'm saying you can use that home field advantage to your advantage. Buffalo maybe just doesn't elect to. They
Aaron
finally
Rodgers
brought
is
in.
somewhere listening to you saying, "Get me in a dome."
no, well,
But that's not the only reason why they lost. They can't block on a punt.
It is.
They can't block on a punt, JT.
The
How did
weather,
that
the weather
affect
was
anything?
shit.
How did the weather affect
If it were in LA, that would have been a shootout and they might have won.
the thing is, Aaron Rodgers.
No, that had nothing.
Aaron
No,
Rodgers will
I
tell you
disagree
himself
there.
he likes cold weather games, whether the result says otherwise.
Yeah, because he got a built-in
He does
excuse.
acid and licks toads. I don't know if we're going to trust Aaron Rodgers
We're
now.
going to get to that. So within that same division that we were previously talking about like half hour ago, the AFC North, we saw the latest worst to first from the Cincinnati Bengals. So guys, typically there is a worst to first every single year. This time I'll start with you, Don. Who in 2022 do you predict will be that worst to first?
I'm gonna take a line that JT always says. I'm gonna take the low-hanging fruit, as he likes to say, because I gotta make sure I get one answer.
That's my line all of a
That's
sudden
your
now?
line. I gotta make sure
Bro, I've never said that in my life.
Oh yes, you have. I gotta make sure.
Run the tape. That's literally your bag of phrases to come up with when you think you got a good answer. So I don't know why you try to throw me under the bus. I'm not even a part of this question.
You said it before. Well, you're gonna answer it too, but I got to make sure I get one answer right here. And this is the one on this show today that I'm going to get right. So if you want to skip everyone else, Justin, after this, please do on their behalf. It's the Baltimore Ravens. They were technically in last place last year at 8-9, and Lamar was hurt. And guess what? He's coming back. I think since he regresses, the Steelers are probably about the same as last year, a 500 team at best. Cleveland, it's going to depend on what this whole suspension is with Deshaun now that it's been appealed. And they've drafted Kyle Hamilton. J.K. Dobbins is back. Bateman is probably back for the full season if he can stay healthy. Mark Andrews is still there. Like, this team is ready to basically win the division. And it's just unfortunate for them. Lamar got hurt, and they ended up technically in last place. But they're going to go worst to first. Just book it. Go ahead and move on into the show.
I mean, I think that really is a low-hanging fruit. So let's move quickly, Jerm.
Hey, it's so low-hanging, even I can reach it. And I'm probably the shortest guy in this chat.
Bro, you brought up Kyle Hamilton, who's getting torched by like Cole Beasley's little brother. Come on.
Oh, is it preseason? Preseason now, JT?
That's worse.
That's what we're basing things on.
That's even worse. All right. He's getting torched by a guy that's not even going to be on the roster. But I mean, I agree with you. I love the Ravens.
Jerm, is it so easy that it is the Baltimore Ravens, or do you have a surprise pick up your sleeve? Because it can't be the Buffalo Bills, no.
I was thinking about how I can end this crescendo and bring up the Buffalo Bills with this last topic. And lucky for you guys, I can. Because the team that's going from worst to first is a team that I like to call the Blues Mafia, Buffalo South. The ones who took Brian Daboll, those New York Giants who are emulating everything the Buffalo Bills have done. 6 of the last 10 teams to go from worst in their division to winning the division have all come from the NFC East. And who was last place in the NFC East last year? The New York Football Giants. That's right. Joe Shine, the new GM from those Buffalo Bills, who helped develop Josh Allen, will turn Danny Dimes into Josh Allen Jr. They probably had the best draft this year. Kayvon Thibodeau will be the new Von Miller. He will be, dare I say, throwback Mario Williams in those Buffalo Bills uniforms with the red eyes. Saquon Barkley is back. Quadzilla. Kenny Golladay is healthy. They have receivers. They drafted tight ends. Yes, the Buffalo Bills will be resurrected in the NFC East through those New York Football Giants. Thank you.
How did I not see this coming? How did I not see this coming? JT, it can't be the Buffalo Bills. Who's the next iteration of worst to first this season?
This man said Daniel Jones. I mean, he might not even be the starter, but I like that pick. I like both their picks, but I think the obvious answer is the Jacksonville Jaguars, just because they have. And I said, I've been saying this for
Jerm, you all right?
He's dead.
I've been
He's
saying
dead
this
serious.
for the past couple years.
He's dead serious.
The Jacksonville.
This is what I got to deal with on a daily
Jaguars. Hey, look. Donald backed me up on this. I said it 2 years ago. I said the Jacksonville Jaguars is the best destination if I'm a head coach because they have draft picks and they have cap room. And guess what? They have the most unlikely situation for a team that's supposed to be bad. First of all, you go from the worst coach ever to a coach that has Super Bowl experience. That in itself is rare. You usually don't get that. And then also you have 2 back-to-back number 1 overall picks on your team, and we're acting like Jacksonville is not a talented team and that division is not trash. Like, they beat the best team in that division last year and kept them out of the playoffs, and that was with a shitty coach. So now you have the number 1 overall pick in the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who's going to be going to his second year with an actual good coach who knows how to coach quarterbacks. You get Etienne back. The team just looks like they're going to be better because they're playing for a better coach. I'm telling you, Jacksonville is the realistic shot to go from worst to first. And I don't understand how more people aren't seeing this. Like, this is as easy as it gets. Go to Vegas and bet your money.
What division
It's as easy as it gets.
AFC.
The South.
The AFC South, correct?
Okay, AFC South. They beat the Colts, who couldn't beat them to get into the playoffs. Houston.
Okay, there we go. The Colts. Boom. They were a good. Everybody. Quarterback away. They have a good defense. They have good weapons. Michael Pittman Jr.'s there. They have the best running back in the NFL. What was the one thing they needed? They needed a quarterback. The guy that you said on my show when I said Matt Ryan ass juice. You said no. He's played with an awful. I called him Hall of Very Good, and you claimed him to be a Hall of Famer. So great. He's all. That's what you said.
Now you're trying to make it seem like I'm like, oh, Matt Ryan's the MVP right now. It's not. Hey, look. Is he better than Carson Wentz? Yes, I believe so. But Indy is overrated. I just don't think they're that great. Cool. And we can say this out loud finally. The Tennessee Titans got lucky last year. They are the worst number 1 seed I ever seen in NFL.
They don't have to be the worst. So I agree with you. However, are they better? They've dominated that division for the last couple of years since Vrabel's gotten there. What the removal of Urban Meyer makes them all of a sudden better than a team that's already been the best team in that division? No. Derrick Henry's coming back. It's over. What has old Derrick Henry with 1 million carries on his body coming off of foot surgery? I wouldn't be so confident he's going to be out there throwing Josh Norman to the side every game. That worries me. Tannehill is trash. No A.J. Brown. I like Mike Vrabel. He's a great coach. He's been doing smoke and mirrors for a long time. The mirrors are broken. They are about to fall.
It's too big of a jump, JT. The Bengals did it. The Bengals did it, but you're forgetting when Marvin Lewis was there, they were perennially a playoff team.
And Joe Burrow's the truth. Now, Trevor Lawrence.
Right. So even if you
like about Trevor Lawrence, hey Don, when you saw any Trevor Lawrence games, was there anything that you said, oh, okay, I see what they have in there, or did you say, wow, this guy sucks? Like you can.
No, I saw things that I liked because I had to watch their games. It's Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer would do stupid crap. Like, why would you go to the 1 yard line and not QB sneak with a 6'6" quarterback who can run? Why not call more design runs for a quarterback who can run? Like, it was the coaching. They're really, really bad coaching. Like, Urban Meyer is worth at least 6-7 losses just by showing
JT,
up.
I agree with the coaching and everything. I just think that you're disrespecting how hard it is to play those divisional opponents, meaning Tennessee and Indianapolis, who are physical, probably more physical than other teams in the NFL, and defensively are like lockdown defenses when they need to be. And I think that is what is tough. Like Jacksonville won an ugly game that day. The Colts, I feel like, turned it over 8 times. Like every possession they had, they were turning it over. And that, yes, you got to give Jacksonville some credit, but Indianapolis was not ready. Like they were not ready for that.
So how is this not going to my point? Like that means the Colts aren't as great as you think they are.
Because now Matt Ryan is there, and the other thing.
All right, so
hold on. The other thing with Matt Ryan is in the Colts, they are now learning. They're taking those next steps. Like Jacksonville still has the training wheels on. It doesn't mean they're not gonna be. It doesn't mean that they're worse than last year. I think they will improve. But to make that jump, you said
it's funny.
You said the obvious answer.
This is my problem with Joe
Burrow.
This is my problem with Joe Burrow. Cincinnati, what you call them? The Bungles. The Bungles. They were the Bungles, right?
Until Joe Burrow got there.
But they make the playoff.
The Bungles did it, and it's like, oh yeah, no problem. Like it's literally the same situation. Like a bad team that is getting better and more talented.
JT, I'm sorry to do this to you. Trevor Lawrence is the worst quarterback in that division. Davis Mills has a better completion percentage. The only thing that he has better yards per attempt, he has more touchdowns, he has less interceptions. The only reason Trevor Lawrence to you looks good is because he's thrown for more yards. And anybody can throw for yards in garbage time because they're always losing. He's not better than Ryan Tannehill, who has statistically been a top quarterback. You can talk about his decision making late in games and playoff games. I get all that. That's not an excuse, but he's a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. And then obviously Matt Ryan is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know why you think Doug Peterson, the guy who like lucked up and got on some magical run with Nick Foles and then couldn't do anything with Jalen Hurts, who is also a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence, is all of a sudden going to make Sunshine all of a sudden a top 5 quarterback, and they're going to leapfrog all these teams and win the division.
So Doug Peterson is being discredited for winning the Super Bowl in a year where he lost his MVP quarterback with Nick Foles.
Doug Peterson
you're bashing him for winning a Super Bowl when how many Super Bowls does McDermott have as a head coach?
McDermott has been coaching less time, right? Like
doesn't matter.
It does matter. Either way, it's fine. That you can use that excuse if you want. Doug Peterson is the Trent Dilfer of head coaches. Anybody can win one.
Oh my God!
You're not getting credit. You're not getting credit for some magical ride. Anybody can get hot in the playoffs. We just watched it with the LA Rams. Anything can go your way, and you can ride a wave and win a Super Bowl.
Dilfer of
Do it again. He's the Trent Dilfer of head coaches.
I know that Jerm shocked me by finding a way to bring the Buffalo Bills in every answer, but never did I think that Trent Dilfer would make his name onto the show, right? But
I think they're being very disrespectful. I'm telling you, it's going to be Jacksonville.
Take offense. That's my motto.
Watch.
JT, I don't disagree.
Right, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Justin. I don't disagree with what you're saying about Peterson and Trevor Lawrence and the potential. I'm just saying this year coming up, it's too big of a jump. It's too big of a jump.
I think the Titans are going to take a major step back, and the Colts are going to be exactly what they were last year. Oh, and by the way, we're all talking about coaching matters on this show, right? Didn't the Colts lose their defensive coordinator, Eberflus?
You guys are talking about coaching matters.
I'm going to show you.
Ask Andy Reid.
Completely dominate this show because y'all been good. But I'm going to show you I am so good that I'm going to answer 2 questions with 1 answer. So you can change the segment right now, Neil, because the team that's going to go from worst to first and win the AFC West, none other than the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, yes, I answered 2 questions with 1 answer. Here it is, right? I think the Denver Broncos are being so disrespected, right? We are talking about a top 3 defense that had Bradley Chubb, Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons, and is now added Randy Gregory to a defense that finished 3rd in scoring and was the first defense ever to finish top 3 in scoring and did not make the playoffs. Not the first in 10 years or 20 years or 30, the first ever to do it, which means they were just a quarterback away. And now you're adding Russell Wilson to a decent receiving core of Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton to this team. Remember, this was a top 3 scoring defense in a division where they played the Chargers twice, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs twice, Derek Carr and the Raiders twice, and that was a top 3 scoring defense. On top of that, they played the high-scoring Cowboys and beat them in Jerry's world. And now you're bringing Russell Wilson to this squad. There are no weaknesses in the Denver Broncos. And the real reason they want to say the Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West, yes, you heard me here now, is not the defense. It's not even Russell Wilson. Wait for it, guys. The head coach, Nathaniel Hackett, is the reason the Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West. Now, I know y'all are smiling and thinking that this is a Packers bias, but no. A lot of people don't know Nathaniel Hackett's history. So let me show you how good this man is at turning around franchises. None of the 4 of us have lived long enough to know Syracuse as a football power. And yes, who helped turn around Syracuse football? Nathaniel Hackett. The same Jacksonville Jaguars that have been bad for so long, it's Mark Brunell. Guess who got them to an AFC title game, and they should have been in the Super Bowl. So much so that he even helped Blake Bortles to get an extension he did not deserve. Guess who was his quarterback's coach in that 2015-2016 years? Take a wild guess. That is right.
Josh Allen.
That is right. When the Packers drafted Jordan Love with that shocking first-round pick, it was not because they didn't know what they were doing. It is because Aaron Rodgers was showing decline. All of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers has back-to-back MVP seasons. Who was the Packers' offensive coordinator for the last 2 years during those MVP runs? Take a wild guess. That's right, guys. Nathaniel Hackett. Everything that Nathaniel Hackett touches turns to gold. And we are going to see a situation. And when you hear the players talk about it, every single player down to a man loves Nathaniel Hackett. This man turned around Syracuse football. He made Blake Bortles get a contract extension that we all knew he did not deserve. Turned back around Aaron Rodgers to the MVP winning quarterback we all know and love, at least us in Green Bay. The Denver Broncos, unlike all of those other teams that have huge holes, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, cannot stop a nosebleed, cannot stop the run if you beg them to. And the Raiders, none of us are ever considering the Raiders as true Super Bowl contenders, no matter how many Packers they steal and go kick there. The Denver Broncos are not only the top candidate for worst to first, they are going to win the AFC West. JT, who is your choice? Because it has to be the Denver Broncos winning the AFC West.
Strictly AFC West. I mean, I like your argument. Only thing I worry about with them is a couple things. One, Vic Fangio's a hell of a defensive mind. That's why they were that good on defense, and he's not there. So now you're going to an identity where we're in shootout mode. And when you're in shootout mode, anybody can win those games. And usually it's the team with the best coach and the best, weapons that can do that. So until anybody can show me that Andy Reid has fallen off, I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs. But, yeah, I definitely can see the Broncos improving. And the other reason why I'm going to push back a little bit, too, is I love Russell Wilson, but he got to show me something. He got to show me that, look, we're not building in any more excuses. Like, he got to take a team and do it on his own. And, like, he hasn't completely done that without the Legion of Boom. So until he does that, I'm always going to have that little bit of skepticism in the back of my mind. But, I mean, it's a heck of a choice, but I think you're also disrespecting the Raiders, too. Like, they could be legit. And so could the Chargers, which are basically the Bills West. Like, they could get it together and not mess it up, too. So, I mean, any one of those teams could do it, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs just because it's Andy Reid and Mahomes, and that formula usually works.
I've lived long enough to know that the Chargers are going to do Charger things. And if we're talking about coaching, boy, oh boy, I am not a fan of Brandon Staley. But you call him the Bills of the West, so I got to go with the man with the Bills of the East. Who do you have winning the AFC West, Jerm?
I also have the Denver Broncos. They've made the biggest upgrades. Same reason why the Bills are the Bills. And it's funny you bring up Nathaniel Hackett because guess who was the offensive coordinator with Doug Marrone when the Bills finally broke that 17-year drought? That's right. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett coming full circle, baby. The gift of the Buffalo Bills keeps on giving. And who did JT just defend for winning one Super Bowl? Doug Peterson. Give him his flowers. Oh, you can't discredit him. And then in the very next segment, Russell Wilson for winning, you guessed it, folks, one Super Bowl. So I don't know, JT.
Did he
know,
win
man.
it,
I don't
though,
know about you.
or did the defense win it?
Listen, he hoisted up that Super Bowl MVP trophy.
Hey, look.
I don't know.
I'm not taking away anything from the man. He's got the trophy. I like Russ. That's why I said it. But hey, look, ever since Legion of Boom's gone away, and they tried to make him the focal point, he hasn't been close to doing it. Could he do it in Denver?
So the Legion.
Maybe.
So basically, what you're saying is the Legion and Boom is Nick Foles. Got it. So on to the Denver Broncos. Probably the best young running back tandem in the league in Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon III. And so Russ is best when there's a potent running game. And that was the problem in Seattle. They didn't have an identity. At sometimes they let Russ cook, which is also a ridiculous statement by JT, because that phrase exists because Russ was cooking out there and doing his thing and winning games for that franchise. But then they decided, okay, now we got to run the ball. And then it was Marshawn Lynch. And then all of a sudden it was Chris Carson and Rashad Penny and running back by committee. And then Russ was like, wait a minute, I'm Russ. And then receivers getting hurt. Who'd they have? Josh Gordon for a little bit. Couldn't stop smoking weed. The guy, who's the other drug addict they had? The really good one. He was on the Bills too. Light-skinned guy. Florida, from the Florida Gators. I don't know, whatever. He's out of there too. Terrell Owens couldn't make the team. So it was like there was a lot of things going on in Seattle. So Percy Harvin, that's who they had. There we go. That's the Broncos made the biggest leap, and they made it at the most important position. Again, much like what was the other team? The Colts we've been talking about. Every year it seems like the Broncos are a quarterback away. Oh, if they had a quarterback, all this defense, all this, all this offensive line, this defensive line. Only if they didn't have, if they had not Brock Osweiler out there, maybe they could make some noise. And now they have somebody a lot better than Brock Osweiler, a lot better than Drew Lock, a lot better than Tim Tebow, who won a playoff game, by the way, by beating who was it? I can't put my finger on it. Oh yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, much like Baker Mayfield.
Why, Jerm? Why you got to go there? I don't do that.
Much like
you.
Baker Mayfield.
Man. I do that to JT.
I'm sorry, your partner, man. He's got me riled up. So everybody's catching strays.
He's all riled up because his Bills are gonna lose in the first or second round like usual.
Justin, like I said, the Chiefs lost, right? They lost the best weapon in football in Tyreek Hill, right? They've lost pieces on the defensive side. Juju Smith-Schuster, I mean, I would refer to Don. I think not. I'm not going to say he's overrated. I think he's going to be a comeback player. From what I've seen, he's just not worth the hype he's given. I don't know if I would call him overrated. I just think people kind of, I guess, overrate him. But I'm not going to disrespect him and call him an overrated player because he's nice. He's a good player. I just don't think he's replaced Tyreek Hill good. And then who's the other AFC? The Raiders. I guess they got Davante Adams, but I don't know how that's going to. They're the Raiders, right? And then the Chargers, until they show up when it matters and not beat up on bad teams like they did earlier in the season and had everybody fooled, and then they fell off. Like they got to. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's good, but in terms of Russell Wilson's a proven commodity, Denver and franchise, so I'm going to roll with Denver.
Don, AFC winners, we got.
You guys bring up good arguments. I'm gonna go a little bit outside the box here. I'm gonna go the Raiders. They were 10-7 last year, and they went through a lot of turmoil, not once, but twice. And for them to keep it together, Derek Carr, if he's ever going to do anything, this is the season leading into the future. Like it is now. They upgraded. Jerm keeps talking about teams that haven't upgraded and teams that have upgraded. they've upgraded. Davante Adams, sorry, Justin, huge upgrade for them. And you look at that receiving core, they all kind of fit a role now. You've got Davante Adams, you've got Hunter Renfrow, and then you've got Keelan Cole, which he's a pretty nice player when he's your third receiver. And then you look at the running back competition. Now, we saw Josh Jacobs playing all these snaps in the Hall of Fame game. So that leads me to believe that running back competition is open. And you know what that does? That's going to bring everybody's level of play up. And they have a young running backs room with some of the guys that they brought in. And their defense is solid. Chandler Jones. And I think this is the key difference, especially with the Chargers and Broncos. Not so much with the Chiefs. But I'll take Josh Daniels over the Chargers and Broncos head coach. Sorry, Justin, Jerm. You guys talk a lot about Nathaniel Hackett. And the reason why is I think he's learned. And you saw in that preseason game, and I hate putting much in the preseason games, but you saw that he's making that organization competitive in terms of if you're not doing the right things and you're not playing hard, you're not going to be on the roster. You're not going to see enough of the field for you to be happy. And for you to be happy, is that the play? Then you've got to bring it. And I think that's what's happening with Josh Jacobs. He's like, hey, prove it to me. If you prove it to me, you will play. And I think that's what's happening there. And he's learned from his time in Denver. He's not trying to be Bill Belichick anymore. He's trying to be Josh McDaniels, Raiders head coach to win a Super Bowl. And he's going to do it his own way. And Carr and Adams, I just think that it's a really tough division. It may be the Chiefs at the end of the day, but I think the Raiders will finally do it. I don't know how they'll do in the playoffs, but I just think that division is it can be had by them just based on what I saw last year. That team fights. There's something in that team that you don't want to play them. Since he struggled with them, you saw what happened with the Chargers at the end. Like, that is not a team. If I'm Buffalo, I feel good going into that game, but because I think Buffalo is the best team in the AFC. But that would be the one team, if I got to see them in the playoffs, knowing the Raiders get that far, I'm like, man, this is going to be a dogfight. The Raiders can play.
I want to hear everything you said, and I want to believe you. It is just that there's one problem.
They stole Davante Adams from me. That's the problem. I'd be salty too if the Steelers had Davante and he left because of Big Ben.
The Darren Waller out of that trade, it wouldn't have hurt so bad. But my one problem, outside of Brian Flores, I have not seen a good Bill Belichick disciple. Not one. And the one good one can't find a head coaching job despite the success he had done so. I don't believe in Josh McDaniels. I don't believe in Matt Patricia. I don't believe in the one that coached Houston. I don't believe in any.
Vrabel's been really solid.
Go ahead, Don.
JT, that's a good point. Vrabel has been solid, but Justin, correct me if I'm wrong. This may be the first Belichick tree here, part of the Belichick tree that gets a second shot. Is that correct?
It is.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's what I'm going on. He's one of the only ones that had a chance to learn. Charlie Weiss didn't. Romeo Crennel. They didn't get a chance to dip their feet back in that head coaching water. And I think he's learned. These guys all try to be Belichick. You can't do that. You can't all be Nick Saban when you leave. Like Jeremy Pruitt, you can't be Saban. Like Kirby Smart, a little bit of Saban in him, but he's also done a little. Well, he took over Georgia as well, but he's done a little bit different. So like, I think McDaniels learned from that.
Let's hope, because if so, it just shows me Bill Belichick is not as great of a coach as we talk about. Because when you see the great coaches from Mike Shanahan to all them Wade back down, we're talking about George Seifert and all of them. They all have one thing in common, and not just Bowles. It's these great coaching trees. Mike Holmgren, you can go on and on. They all have these great coaching trees. And if there's one thing that Bill Belichick does not have, it is a great coaching tree. So I thought it was all smart by coming up with this last question. And the guys will tell you, I had a previous last question. They swapped it. Only to find out hours later that this Carolina Panthers are reportedly shopping Sam Darnold. Not really a shock.
I am always knowing, baby. I am always knowing. I told AT. And another reason why the Buffalo Bills are indeed the best team in the NFL. Now that Tyreek Hill and is gone from Kansas City, And now that Davante Adams is gone from Green Bay, Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs are the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league. There may be a quarterback better, right? Aaron Rodgers is receivers and better than Stefon Diggs, and Derek Carr isn't better than Josh Allen. Cooper Kupp may be better than Stefon Diggs. I don't want to. He's been hot for like a summer. Let's give it another year or two. But I'll give him his flowers. He's really good. But Matt Stafford ain't better than Josh Allen. So Joe Burrow ain't better. The only other one I could think of is maybe Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. But I don't know if I'm taking Jamar Chase over Stefon Diggs. And I don't know if I'm taking Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. I'm definitely not taking Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. And I love Joe Burrow. But
who would you take over Josh Allen? Is the
I just told you, Aaron Rodgers. I would take Aaron. He's the best.
Aaron
Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen.
That's such a Bills answer. You're gonna pick somebody who can't get it done. Awesome.
Who am I gonna? I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes.
The answer is Brady. The answer is always Tom Brady. Until he dies, it's Tom Brady. Who do you want to coach your team? It's Brady. Who do you want as your quarterback? It's Brady. Who's the offensive coordinator? It's Brady. Who's the damn GM? It's Brady. It's always Brady.
It's not always Brady here, JD, so I'm going to let you ask this question. Who wins the quarterback battle down in Carolina now?
I mean, it's got to be Baker Mayfield. They went and got him when they already had.
This is crazy. Like an hour ago.
He switched.
Yeah, my Lord.
He heard the report, Jerm. He heard the report that Justin just said. He's like, I would look like a fool now if I still said Sam Darnold because they chopping the guy. There's no way Darnold's going to start if they're chopping the guy. Hey, Jerm, that's why I get deal with on the regular.
Pepperidge Farm
daily,
remembers. Man. Pepperidge Farm remembers, JT. We remember. It was an hour ago you said this.
Hey, look, Baker Mayfield.
Big question.
Yeah, see no explanation behind it.
Hey, Jerm.
What do you want me to say? He's
gonna just say you wrote Sam Darnold. You heard the report, and it's got to be Baker. It's got to be Baker.
I didn't write Sam Darnold. I always thought it was going to be Baker Mayfield. They wouldn't trade it for him. Like if you had a quarterback already,
that's the key. I think Baker. The moment you trade for Baker Mayfield, specifically because of his personality and who he is, he was always going to be the starting quarterback. They already saw enough of Sam Darnold. The issue with Carolina was they were paying Teddy Bridgewater. They're paying Cam Newton. They're paying Sam Darnold. Like they've invested big money into quarterbacks, and that has been a carousel. But now you add a Baker Mayfield, who's the best quarterback Carolina's had probably since 2015, Cam. And here we are. You know what I mean? And so you make a trade for somebody like that. He's going to be the starter. I don't care what they said. They didn't want to hand the keys to him. They wanted him to earn it, quote unquote, earn it. But he's going to earn it by virtue of being better than Sam Darnold. Sorry, Don, plug your ears. He went. I mean, he took Cleveland out of the depths. They have a jersey with 30 quarterbacks on it, and he went into. Sorry, Don. Went into Pittsburgh, won a playoff game in Pittsburgh, and the rest is history. So the moment, the Carolina needs to do something. This is Matt Rule's last chance. He was brought in to fix that team. He hasn't done jack squat. Probably because he hasn't had a good quarterback. So he's not going to roll with the guy who's already failed him. He's going to go with the new hotness, which is Baker Mayfield, who has something to prove.
I guess it's going to be a boring show because Don is likely going to lead Baker Mayfield, as we all heard the report.
Yeah, but this is what I would start him. Week 1, I'd start him for that revenge game. I'm with you, Jerm. If there's ever a game, Carolina just needs to go 1-15. Avoid going 0-16, go 1-15, get the top pick, and then you get to pick whoever you want. Whether it's CJ from Ohio State, whether it's Bryce Young, maybe Tyler Van Dyke of the U, JT, and I hope he's the number 1 overall pick because it means he has a hell of
No, we don't because we want him to come back.
Well, that means that
we hope he is not.
If he does a Burrow type,
what are you doing?
JT,
why are you saying this? Come on, it's bad karma.
No, that's good karma. If he does if Joe Burrow type thing, that's all good for everyone all around. But
if he leaves without a national championship, it's terrible. So I hope he stays. No, so just TVD is not a part of that equation.
Just get a national title. Anyway. Listen, I would just make Baker Week 1 starter for that revenge game. You're going to be talked about all week leading up to it. Carolina doesn't get talked enough. And it's just going to be an entertaining game for everyone. Like, let's go. Sign me up for that. Week 1, Baker Mayfield. I don't care how he looks in the preseason, how he looks in camp. Like, just make him the starter just for that revenge game, plus everything else Jerm and Well, what Jerm said. Forget about JT said. Everything else Jerm said.
I thought it was looking so smart by bringing up this topic, thinking we were going to have a debate, and then the news broke. So let me just say this: even before that news broke, the mere fact, and they usually go with the incumbent because they know the playbook, etc., etc. But the mere fact that Sam Darnold is only 25 years old, and you still went ahead and drafted a quarterback. On top of drafting the quarterback, then you trade for one. Yeah, the writing is on the wall. Like, Sam Darnold probably won't even have a snap or a locker room in Carolina anymore. So yeah, this is indeed the worst boring segment on the show, but thankfully it was the last one. So guys, Jerm, plug yourself, let the people know what you got coming up and how to find you.
Yes, I am one half of Stuff About Sports, and you can catch us on the Give Us a Shot Network at Stuff About Sports on Instagram and Facebook, and at Give Us a Shot Network on YouTube. I will be on Wednesday. Bert will be back because all he does is gallivant around the country and leave me to have awesome shows with guys like This Just In and JT and the Don and Goat Talk with Marcus and all these other guys, and it's a blast. I believe Marcus will be on with us on Wednesday. We're going to do NFL season preview, top 5, bottom 3 MLB teams, and we're going to do a sports broadcaster Mount Rushmore in honor of the late and great Vince Scully. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be actually starting our bragging rights fantasy football preview, Bucket of Doom stuff. So it's going to be a blast. Come on through if y'all not doing nothing.
Make sure to go on through, even if you have something to do, because indeed it is the most entertaining show, especially when Jerm has somebody to battle with. Don, go ahead and do the favors.
Yeah, Jimmy Thompson and myself, JT and the Don All Sports Podcast. We can be found on all the major platforms, and you can follow us on social media. Our handle, JT and the Don, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. JT, I always plug it. JT does a great job, especially with Instagram. So check it out. Please follow us and, like and subscribe us on our podcast on all the major platforms. Thank you, Justin.
Always. The battle is not just here. These two guys always, no matter what show they're on, especially they're on, that this beef is real. And on top of that, JT has forced me to stop posting on Instagram because the Instagram feed is so legit had to stop.
Hey, I want to say one thing, Jerm. I know you said Bert's always traveling, man. I feel your pain. JT's always traveling. Like Justin said, he's in Canada right now. Next moment, he'll be west coast of Canada, east coast of Canada, and back in the central, then in Orlando, then Las Vegas, then Texas, then Arizona. Like, I can't keep up with JT. And I'm more on your show than we do our own show because of him. So
It's great.
It's because I'm out there trying to get those sponsors so I can actually make money to deal with.
This guy's on some FBI list. I'm gonna have to check.
We don't got one
around way too much. You're on some wanted list somewhere.
Oh, wait, hold on. You're saying that we're harboring a wanted fugitive? Please, guys, I have no, like, the feds, if you're looking at me, I am an immigrant, know nothing of what. Please,
and this is the exact phrase when they mean sometimes it be your own people. See, Don, right there, throwing me under the bus.
Hey, I always say JT's on a permanent vacation.
Yes,
vacation.
Please do not deport me. Don't take my green card. I knows nothing of what Jimmy Thompson does with his free time, Fed. I do not. I am in a law-abiding, permanent resident of this country. But honestly, yeah, JD is good people. And so to anyone that watches this show, we are on 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday night right here on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. And you can also find us on Twitter because Marsha Boys does a great job with our Twitter. So for Jerm, for JT, and Don, I am indeed Justin of hashtag It's Justin signing out. And we will have no more Bills topics for the rest of the year. I assure you, you do not have to hear about the Buffalo Bills Buffalo Bills Mafia anymore. That is the end of that, folks. Good night and have a great rest of your week.
Josh Allen's the best.
I don't have a mark on my face, and my upset son in Lisbon, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world, I talk to God every day. The God's with the king over it. You're just the same. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
can I be a legend? Search your soul and answer me this question. Do you think I have what it takes to be great, but still be humble and learn from my mistakes? Shit.